Okay, Tuber's High Score Challenge. The game this time is Amidar by Konami in 1982 on the arcade. First of all, just a quick overview of the game. As you can see, it's kind of like a bit like a Pac-Man type game where you go around sort of collecting all the dots. It changes between levels. There's this kind of level here where you're the gorilla collecting the dots. And then you get a bonus stage where you have to get some bananas, and then you get like a second level where you have to sort of draw lines around boxes, which we'll see soon. The enemies, they always sort of take the path they come across. Well, most of them do. Those sort of green ones there, those are the Amidars. So you can kind of read where they are going to go, which is very important for the game and avoiding them. You've also got the tracer enemy, which is what goes around the outside. It starts off just by sort of just doing loops around the outside line of the board. After a certain amount of time, though, it starts following in your footsteps and tracing you true to its name. We'll see more examples of that later on. What just happened there is once you highlight the 4 corner boxes, it's a bit like the Pac-Man power pill where you get to eat the enemies and you get a lot of bonus points for that. Okay, so that's the first level done, and this is the bonus stage. Like what the Amidars do, which they also look like pigs in some cases. They take every sort of possible sort of turning until they get to the bottom there. I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute, because sometimes it's a bit difficult to work out where it's going to land in time. So here's the second level where it's start drawing lines around the boxes. This time the gorilla has been replaced with a paint roller. And yeah, the Amidars are more sort of pig things rather than those green things earlier, but they behave in exactly the same way. These levels tend to be a little bit more difficult, but you do get some more points in all due to the added points you get from drawing around the boxes there. So lots of points to be got on this level. Okay, now this is exactly the kind of like high score challenge game I really like. Some of these older games, they stick to a certain thing and they do it very well, and it's possible to get completely carried away, as I did, trying to get that high score. Here's me just waiting to get that last corner box to activate the power up, as it were, and then I can sort of get the Amidars as they still continuing their sort of pattern. But yeah, nice 1,000 or so points for getting those last ones there. The more you get, the more points rack up. We'll see soon as well, once you get an added enemy, if you get the last one, you get 3,200 points as well, which is like very nice. Okay, so that's the second level done, and onto the bonus round here. Yeah, these bonus rounds had a cheat sheet here. The patterns are the same, and just wrote down a list basically of where the positions you need to be for getting the banana on each level. Okay, level 3, little high pitched sort of beeping there, which is my first extra life at 30,000 points, so nice bonus there. And dodging the Amidars as they come up the screen. Yeah, top tip, it took me a while to realise, but the Amidars go all the way to the top before sort of moving along a couple of columns before coming back down again. When I first started playing this, it was kind of like I was panicking because it just seemed like these Amidars were all over the place after me, but you work out that you can kind of like, once you dodge past one or like a line of them, you don't need to worry about them for a bit. You can just chill out on the other end of the board, collect some dots until they come back down again, and then sort of dodge past them again, almost like sort of breaking through a wave as you're swimming out to sea, so to speak. So here I'm on level 3, things going well. One thing I haven't mentioned so far is that you've also got jumps as well. Pressing the fire button causes the board to shake like so, which causes the enemies to sort of jump up in the air, so you can just run underneath them when they do that. I actually used the jump there just to give you a little bit more time to get that corner box, which just let me get in position really for picking off the enemies once I'd got that power up. So you can sort of use it sort of a bit tactically like that, or just to sort of play and get out of trouble. And that's level 3 done. And another bonus stage. You can actually sort of work out, if you've not got a list of the positions to hand, you can kind of just like draw a line up sort of directly until you hit a gap, and then sort of draw it back in the other direction until you hit another gap or a wall, and then sort of up to the position where it should start. It's a bit tricky, but you can do it just about in time. Okay, round 4. Round 4 here is where it just starts getting pretty tricky. For a long time, it's kind of like I was almost always expecting to lose a life on level 4. But with a bit of perseverance, I did manage to sort of nail it after a bit. By now as well, I think we have an extra Amidar, just to make things that bit more tricky. But it does also mean added bonus points if we can pick them off. I used to jump to get out of trouble there. That was a bit lucky because I sort of also had to sort of position myself in between the one I'd ran under and one who was just about to go down the line in front of that as well. So quite easy to get caught in those situations, but just about managed to escape. And doing okay here. Yeah, sometimes as well it's better just to sort of run away to the opposite end of the screen and just to sort of stay clear of them. You don't really want to be sort of trapped on the edge or in a corner as you've got a bunch of them coming down at you. With the timer alarm there as well, so this is where the tracer lives up to the name. The tracer, as you can see, it's kind of following where I've been exactly. And it will just continue to do that now, so that's something which sort of constantly keeps me on the move now. It's not so bad once you get used to it, but of course it is that added pressure, and this is the fun part as well. When you're trying to read where all the Amidars are going, and you got the tracer on your case, then it does add to the pressure and the tension of it, but great fun at the same time. Yeah, got that last corner box there, and managed to pick off most of the Amidars there. There's that one on the left which got away, but to be honest, on level 4 here, my priority really is just sort of keeping my lives intact. Used a spare bounce at the end there, so just to give me a little bit of time just in case, but yeah, sort of made that comfortably enough. And round 4, a bonus round. Yeah, with this game, I must admit, I got a bit carried away. I've spent about sort of 15 plus hours on it in all. It's exactly the kind of game where it pays off a lot to play it regularly, sort of like just most days for a little bit, and when you go back to it, it's kind of like all of a sudden it just seems easier, like the patterns sort of sink into your brain a bit more. It just becomes that much easier to read where the enemies are going to go. When playing it at first, it's like, oh my god, it's like trying to dodge everywhere, out of the way all the time. But you really can sort of start to like understand where the enemies are going to go, and you almost get a sense for it sometimes as well. A bit of a general tip. I mean, it sounds obvious, but the more lines there are, the more sort of turns they're going to take, which makes it easy to predict. Sometimes if you find yourself like with quite a long box along the side, it just makes it that bit easier to read where they're going to go, and so you can sort of plan sort of like to dodge past them like a bit better. Yeah, I'm just leaving that last box for a little bit because there's a fair few dots around. I sort of try to sort of leave the boxes sort of power up till later on, but yeah, you kind of want to hit it when there's a bunch of them sort of about halfway down the screen coming down, and you've also got the tracer ready to pick off straight away as well. And yeah, 3,200 points for getting them all there. Well, more than that, like 1,000 for each of. Like you get 800, then if you 1,600, then a final 3,200 for getting that last one. So lots of points to be earned there. Yeah, sometimes you get these bits where you just sort of trying to get to a certain area of the board, but it's a bit crowded. It's always better to sort of just be patient, take your time, and just keep on sort of circling around, wait till it's safe. I used a bit of a bounce there to sort of dodge under the enemy and sort of just give me a little bit of time just to get those final few dots as well. So quite pleased that worked very well. So level 5 here, and as yet I've not lost a life. So it's usually around this time which I would have lost a life, so it's kind of like this would be a good run in my book. You start to, after playing it as much as you do start to work out little openings for certain levels. There's certain good ways to start a level which you can sort of like do a couple of dodges and get off to a good start. With these stages where you got to draw lines around the boxes as well, I think it's quite important to get the almost like a column going sort of up as quickly as possible, because you're going to be chased around the whole board, and you don't really want to be sort of stuck on an area of the board where you're not able to sort of paint anything. And the longer things go on, the more the tracer sort of closes the gap on you. The tracer goes at the same speed, by the way, but it's kind of like if you sort of just get caught on a corner, or if you have to wait for an Amidar to get out of the way, then it's the tracer's going to gain ground on you. You get a bit of a bounce there, just sort of go under one. And so I can carry on drawing boxes on the bottom half of the screen, and sometimes it's tempting to finish off a box, but safety first. I decided to go straight up and past the Amidar there, which was a wise choice. Always better to get out of the way of them and use my last jump there. And now the beep extra life, yeah, you get your first one at 30,000, but then after that's every 70,000, so after hitting the 100k mark, that's my second extra life. And just got the power up as well, and yeah, I think here I've prioritised just finishing off the level, because I'm very pleased not having lost a life so far, and whilst it would have been nice to get some extra bonus points, yeah, just using that time just for that bit of opportunity to get those extra few boxes. A bit of a mess up there, didn't quite complete the box, which means if you sort of move away from it, then it cancels your line. You've got to sort of like do it all in one. Yeah, and it's a bit closer, it's getting a bit hectic. Tracer on my tail, had to do a few dodges, but job done there. So level 6 bounce round, still no lives lost. Was very chuffed with the rough run so far. As you can see, there's a high score of 197,000, which I was very pleased with. I actually got that ages before. I actually fucked up the banana last bonus round on that, which would have brought me over 200k, which would have caused me to sort of call it a day and say, yeah, happy with that, but no, didn't quite get it on that occasion. That gives you a bit of a hint as to what the final score might be. And that was my first life gone there. That was a very avoidable one. Not going to be too hard on myself there, but yeah, you can just clip them on the corners there. There's sort of quite a wide hitbox, so to speak, so you do need to be a bit careful at those junctions. But never mind, sort of try and get back on the horse as quickly as possible. It's easy to have a wobble when you lose a life, and sort of like, yeah, if you get out your rhythm, and you don't want your lives to start tumbling. Even though I've lost that life, this is still a very good run so far, so I was just sort of trying to get back on track and get my momentum back. And yeah, Karen's sort of scoring those points. I have to say these ones with the gorilla and the dots are sort of generally a little bit easier than the ones where you got to draw boxes around things. I just think there's a bit more freedom in terms of the board, and not being sort of constrained to having to paint lines around the boxes next to the ones you've already painted, so you can sort of go wherever you like on the board and just like pick off the dots bit by bit, really. And a couple of bands there just to give you a bit of time just to get those sort of last few dots. So please don't lose any more lives after that first one on that level, and so we're up to around 7 bonus round now. And yeah, I do that. Okay, now on this bit, generally the time for the tracer gets shorter and shorter, so I've purposefully gone to the top of the screen straight away there, because I know that the tracer is going to have to be straight away, and I need that sort of space to sort of just keep running. Basically, I didn't want to box myself in the corner straight away with a tracer on my case and having to dodge Amidars. Yeah, sort of you start to need to sort of plan a bit more in terms of how the enemies are going to be reacting, and as you can see as well, from now on really it's just like sort of non-stop tracer on your tail. It's almost a little bit easier when the tracer's not too far behind, because you can kind of like there's less risk of getting caught up on yourself. If they're quite far behind, then you might take a couple of turns, and before you know it, you might accidentally sort of run into where you were 5 seconds before, and that happens to be where the tracer is at that time. So keeping the tracer at that distance is sort of quite manageable really, and also sort of, they're not too close at that stage, yeah, got myself into a bit of a pickle there, just in the corner with that Amidar. Had half an eye on the tracer, half an eye on the Amidars, and that's what happens. But this is round 8, so so far so good, but once again sort of like trying not to have a wobble, as can easily be done after losing a life. So I always say as well, if you've got any jumps left when you die, then it usually means you've messed up. In fairness, yes, sometimes it's just you get into a plain difficult situation, but if you've got a jump, you've always got a chance of getting out there, and so many deaths can be avoided just by jumping at a safe time, rather than trying to just keep hold of all your jumps to the last possible seconds. You know, just trying to be sort of too cautious with the jumps. But no, yes, better to be safe, jump early, run to another part of the board, and sort of begin again, so to speak. Okay, round 8 bonus, and what happens now is the board, it goes back to the level 1 board design. So it's almost like a loop, I believe. You may notice as well the Amidars have also sped up a lot, so they are much faster than you now. So if you've got one on your tail, then it makes it that bit harder to dodge. Fortunately, the tracer stays at the same speed, so that would just be unreasonable really if the tracer sped up as well. But yeah, picking up the Amidars there, because they move so quickly as well, it actually makes it a little bit easier just to get those bonus points, because they just run into you that bit much quicker. So that must have been pixels to getting caught there, just as I sort of got chased down the board along the side, and just about evaded that one. And of course, with the speed they're going as well, it's kind of like you're wondering where the hell are they going to end up. So you've really got to sort of like get an impression as to what the patterns are, and sort of where's going to be safe, where's not. You got to look quite a bit in advance really. And yeah, lost a life back there as well, because sometimes you just got to hold your hand up and say, I didn't see that one coming. But yeah, fortunately with this board, it's there's quite a few sort of gaps, so it's a bit easier just to sort of like sort of plan ahead, which way you need to at this speed. So level 9 bonus round, and the positions are exactly the same as the level 1 board. So if you've got a list like I did, you can just refer to level 1 positions, and it will tell you where everything is. Here we go again, extra life after getting past 170,000 points, and the tracer is after me straight away, you can tell by that sound, and yeah, a couple of bounces there, maybe playing it a bit safe, but quite late on, and the pressure starts to build, so it's kind of like, and with 2 lives left as well, sort of like, this is like still really good going. I'm still very pleased. Yeah, the amount of times I'd lose lives on sort of levels 4, 5, 6, and my run would basically just like tumble by sort of like round 8, but here we are on 3-6, like round 10 now, and going pretty strong really. So getting those boxes drawn, trying to box myself in the corner a bit there. I think had I run out of jumps at that point, quite possibly. But never mind. By this stage, it's kind of like I think I'm thinking that just get as much as you can whilst you've still got that extra life or two. Oh, but that was a screw up. That was a screw up. In fact, yeah, I think at this point I was thinking, oh no, I'm going to fall short the 200k again. Yeah, that was a bad screw up. I had jumps and everything there. Just mistimed it or whatever. It was just bad. And yeah, looking a bit shaky here as well. I'm sort of like getting chased to the other corner of the board and struggling to find a way back up and sort of onto me point scoring again. But make a break for it there, get a cheeky box, and I've got the corner box there for my power up. Just wait for the tracer just to get right on the tail. I can get quite a few here. Yeah, didn't pick them all off, but no worries. Just enough time to get those last few boxes. So nicely done there. Yeah, bit of a wobble, losing 2 lives on that stage. Honestly, I would have been kicking myself if my run had sort of like ended there. I was really sort of trying to get 200k here, and it got to the point. Don't know if you've sometimes when you're really sort of like trying to get the high score, you get into that zone, you get into that sort of zen-like state. It's almost like I'd gone past the stages of anger and frustration, and the nerves were still there, but there's also just like a calmness by this point where it's kind of like I don't care, I'm just going to play this until I get that score, and that's exactly what I did there. I was so relieved sort of getting past that 200k mark, just from getting those last few dots to get me over the line. And now I was thinking like anything's just a complete bonus really, and I got that last corner box and just sort of get a final hurrah really. Thinking, yeah, like, so happy now, so happy I did it. I can actually sort of like start enjoying the rest of my Saturday, which by now it was like sort of 9 o'clock in the evening. I've been playing it since bloody sort of 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something. So I was thinking, yeah, job done, mission complete. One of those Amidars is going to get me soon, and I'm out of jumps, but hey, it's been good. But then I spotted, hey, I've got a couple of routes horizontally here. The Amidars are going down. I've got a route to the other dots I've missed there, and I can come back round, and bloody hell, it's another level done. 3, so count the flags, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, round 11, bonus round. Referred to my positions, it didn't mess it up, fortunately, so nice extra 5,000 points. And on to the next level, and Tracer is on the case literally straight away. The timer on, and wastes no time at all. So business as usual, being sort of chased straight away by the Tracer, and a whole bunch of fast Amidars on the screen as well. So here we go, and yeah, I mean I'm not expecting to get sort of like not expecting to complete this level here, but you know, at the same time things had been going very well, so there's always that possibility. And I've been able to sort of dodge them so far. It's probably taking it a bit cautious here. I'd rather run to the other end of the board than risk getting stuck in the corner with a bunch of Amidars coming down at me. But made it I did there, and yeah, back on course to picking off some boxes. Maybe a bit of a cock up there, sort of went straight into the Amidar's path, but fortunately I had a jump left. But yeah, now down to no jumps, so it's kind of like can't afford to get into a fix, and those top corner boxes for the power up are quite far away now, so tense times. But yeah, finding my way up the screen there on that right column, and get 1,500. Oh, but yeah, caught by the Amidar there, but just enough to get me over the 220,000 points score. So absolutely delighted with that. Got a bit obsessed with playing it throughout yesterday, but as I was saying, sort of like playing it regularly throughout the last couple of weeks as well, just like really helped the patterns sort of sink in, and sort of just like learn to like read the game. So that was Amidar.